Hello, it is good to see you. My name is Kirsty. Welcome to Kirsty Knits and Sews, which is a little podcast where we talk about all the things that I have been making. I'm so glad you're here. I am an Aussie who lives in Poland with my husband and my 2 kids, and I love creating and playing with colour, and so this is just a place where I share those things that I've been making. In the past 2 weeks, I have been starting a lot of projects. And when I wrote my notes for this, I had finished a couple, but I had a lot of whips. And in the last couple of days, that has flipped around a little bit. So I'm excited to share what I've finished, what I have been working on. I've also been dyeing some yarn, and we're going to chat about the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along, which I have participated in for the last 3 years. And we're going to talk about what's going to happen this year. So let's get into it. As always, project pages for knitted things will be linked below in the description box. Just click more a couple of times and it'll pop down. And so then patterns and everything will be linked in the project pages. And I'll also link all the shops and dyers and things that I use down below as well. So let's get started. I am wearing the finally finished, because I put buttons on it, Fluffigan by Renia of Comfort Zone Knits. Now, I believe the pattern is going live this weekend. Oh, it is Friday, September 13 at 1:29 p.m. And I am a little bit of a time limit on this recording because I do need to pick up my son from preschool because he's healthy and at preschool. Amazing. So there is a time crunch on the other end, so we'll see how this goes. But yes, this weekend, this pattern, I believe, is being released. I was a test knitter. It is designed to be an oversized cardigan that's decently long, and I messaged Jonia and I said, can I do it a size down on what is recommended and cropped? And she said, yeah, absolutely. I was like, great. So that's what I did, and I love it. It is exactly what I was hoping it would be. You can see, yeah, wearing it with a dress, it just kind of sits exactly on my waist. Very simple. It is enough here in the front that I'm comfortable with it. Sorry, I bumped the table. And I did knit it with the recommended yarn, which is hand dyed here in Poland by Matsen, I believe, of, now I'm gonna forget the name of the dyer. And I don't have the tag here. Did I put it in here? Martin's Lab. I was like, what's the English name for Matsen? Martin. Hello. So it's Martin's Lab, a Polish dyer. And I presume that the yarn that this is knit with, which is Kid Singles, will be available in the shop when the pattern goes live. When I bought the yarn, it wasn't available in the shop yet because it's a new yarn to his shop. And it is a merino kid silk. So instead of being typical kid silk, which is spun around a core of silk, this is Kid Singles, which is mohair spun around a core of merino. So it's a very soft, beautiful yarn. It's very warm, and I may take it off because it's a bit warmer up here than I expected today. We've had beautiful autumn weather. It's great. It's only 18 degrees outside, but it is a little bit warm up here, inside our upstairs room. What else to say about this? It is a fairly simple cardigan. I don't knit a lot of cardigans. I'm very glad I knit this one, and I will wear this one a lot because I have a lot of dresses that it will go with in terms of color, style, length. I did knit the sleeves according to the size that I was recommended, excuse me. So I cast on extra stitches for the sleeves so that I'd be knitting size 3 instead of size 2, which I did for the body to get a more fitted look on the body. Other than that, everything was according to pattern. I did do a size up for the needles for the sleeves because my gauge is tighter on Magic Loop than in the round large circumference knitting. Anyway, I did show this last week, but the buttons weren't on. So I put the button, last episode, the buttons are on. I just got 3 buttons from the local passementeria. haberdashery shop. They had one purple, it matched. I was so excited. And I've been wearing it ever since. All right. I also am sitting in front of the anthology throw that I knit a year ago and blocked earlier this year. And I'll link that project page down below as well in case you're interested. All right, what are the new finishes that I have? I have 3 pairs of socks and a jumper. And the jumper, I don't think you've actually seen because I don't think I had started it when I was doing my last podcast. Let me check. Yeah, no, you haven't actually seen this whatsoever. So let's go into the socks. Both pairs I think you've seen a bit. The first pair. These are, I've just been calling them red and white socks. They're vanilla socks on Magic Loop by Kay the Crazy Sock Lady. I knit these on 2.5mm needles, which is not according to pattern, but again, I have tight gauge on Magic Loop, so that's what I do. And I have played around with 2.25s and things, and I just prefer 2.5 for the fabric that I get consistently. So that's what I do. I started these on, I'm on the wrong page. I started these on, no I'm not. Where are they? Red and white. There you go. 17th of August, and I finished them on the 27th of August. So they've been done for a little bit. The yarn is Trekking XL. Yep. Sorry, Trekking XXL. Number 790 is the colorway. And it's self-striping. So I just literally knit vanilla socks. I did change color for the heel. That is a yarn that my son dyed with food dye. Food dye and vinegar is a great way to do a kid-friendly dyeing session. We used Queen's food dye, which is readily available in Australia, and I get people to bring it over to me here in Poland. And so yeah, I just had the yarn pre-soaked in vinegar, gave them little bottles of food dye and let them sprinkle it on with paintbrushes and things. And it was a really fun activity. I only gave them 2 colours so that I wouldn't end up with brown. So I only gave, my son had blue and red and my daughter had blue and pink. And so yeah, this is the blue and red and how that worked out. These socks are a gift. I can't actually tell you right now who they're for. Oh yes, I remember. I think it's safe to say, but I'm not sure. Anyway, they are a gift. I'm not going to say who they're for just in case. More and more since we've come back to Poland, I have family members watching podcasts, partly just to see my face and hear my voice. And so I just never know which family members watch and which ones don't anymore. So they're a gift. We'll leave it at that. And yeah, really fun to work on. This yarn, when I started it, I didn't actually know who I was going to make them for. I just really wanted to knit the yarn. It was sitting in my stash and I was like, that's my next pair of socks. And normally I pick the yarn before I, like who it's for before I pick the yarn. And this time I just really wanted to knit this yarn. So I did that and then I figured out who they would be for and I'm really happy. I will put them down and I will show you, I'm going to show you the jumper next and I will put it on and then maybe take it off again. We'll see. So let's take off this one and put on this one. Now this one is using stash, which makes me very happy. That's what it looks like off. Here we go. Oh. I've got my kids' toy kitchen on this side and I just bumped it. All right, so here it is. This is, yeah, just an oversized, pretty plain sweater. It is the Love Buzz by This Bird Knits, and I'll put a pattern up here, a picture, sorry, up here, not a pattern, paid for pattern. Put a picture up here because this is nothing what it looks like. The actual pattern has colour work. It's kind of colour blocked with colour work in the middle that meshes it up. You'll see the picture and understand better than I'm explaining it. But I wanted to make a jumper with this yarn because I'd made a cardigan with this yarn last year and it was way oversized. I gave it to my mum. And it fits her beautifully. And every time I see her wear it, I'm like, man, I love that jumper and I wish I'd kept it, or that it had fit me better, but I knew it didn't fit me. So I'm really glad she's enjoying it. But I knew that I had this yarn and I had this, which is an unknown lace weight. I presume it's a merino, maybe it's something different, that I picked up in Virginia with my mum. I want to say it was 2009, so like 15 years ago, we picked this up. Before I really got into knitting in a big way, before I understood that lace weight yarn is not something that most people knit with, but Mum bought it for me, was planning to crochet something very delicate for me out of it, and never did. And I got the pattern from her, and then I never did. But I knew that this blue yarn, which I don't have any, I had very little left over and I don't have it with me, but I knew that holding it with a lace weight would get me the gauge that I needed for the Love Buzz. So I chose the Love Buzz as the basic sweater to do because I just wanted like a cropped V-neck that I could wear over other clothes. Now, here's the thing. There's a couple of things I didn't realise. First of all, Love Buzz, because it has the colour work, a lot of the shaping is done in order for the colour work to not have shaping in it, which is brilliant as a colour work sweater. But it means that, like here, you can see, I think you can see, like from here, all the decreases for the sleeve are done here, and then the rest is straight. And that means that when you get to the colour work in this section, you have no decreases for the colour work. But it means that for a non-colour work sweater, you just have a bit of a strange shape. Now that's fine. I wanted kind of an oversized crop sweater to wear around the house. I was thinking I would wear it out, having seen how it's worked up and like with this black line across here, less likely to just wear it out of the house. But I also know the more I wear a sweater, the more it kind of shapes to my body. And so probably it'll be around the house for a few weeks and then I'll be like, actually, I can wear that out. It's fine. I know I can wear it out. Don't get me wrong. But that's just kind of, I know that when I finish something and I haven't been 100% happy with it as I've been knitting it, it can take me a few wears for me to go, actually, yes, this fits into this area of my wardrobe or style or whatever. But I'll definitely wear it around the house because it is very comfortable, particularly over short sleeve things. Long sleeve things, it gets a little bit tight around the elbow, but short sleeve things, very comfortable. And yeah, it's just kind of perfect for cooler evenings or cooler mornings, which we are getting at the moment, and it is delightful. This morning it was 10 degrees when I woke up. Love it. Celsius. Yeah, so I said there were a few things about the sweater that I wasn't entirely sure about. One was the shaping of the sleeves. The other is this black line, because it's a V-neck. When I picked up stitches for the V-neck, it just kind of tugged the center up, which means that black line comes up to a point. That's fine. It's how the yarn worked up. It's just because it's the darkest part of the sweater, it's quite noticeable. And the length I wasn't sure about. So you can see under here from where I split for the sleeves, it's only, I mean, 6 inches is generous, maybe 5 inches from the split to the bottom of the hem. And this was just bad management on my part. When I looked at the sweater, I thought, that's great. I'll do a cropped sweater, long sleeves. If I don't have enough for long sleeves, I'll do them 3/4 or something. And then I started it in the recommended size with the recommended ease, which I think is 8 to 10 inches for this jumper. Then I realized that I didn't need 8 to 10 inches for a cropped sweater. It was kind of this thing where where did I just put it? This one I ended up, I haven't checked positive ease at the end, I should do that. But this one I ended up knitting 2 sides. And then another one that I'll show you, I chose to knit with no positive ease without gauge swatching. So if it ended up with negative or positive, I didn't really mind. And I think it's going to end up with about 2 inches positive. And so for this one, I was like, you know what? I want to try a big oversized baggy sweater. So I'll just knit the recommended ease without then thinking through the fact that it was going to be short on yarn anyway. And so then knitting with extra ease, short on yarn, I had to make the body more cropped than I had planned. Now, it's no more cropped than the other cardigan, I don't think. But you can see from that, because it's baggy, you notice it more. Or at least I notice it more. And so in my mind, I was thinking of a quite fitted body with maybe loose sleeves. And instead I got a very baggy body with more fitted sleeves. Again, not an issue. I will like it. I do like it. I will like it more and more the more I wear it. It's just not what I had imagined. And that was just because I cast it on really quickly. One day I'd been sick, my kids had been sick. I was starting to feel better but didn't have energy to do anything. I just had the mental energy to start thinking about things, very little bit. And I was like, I just want to start something new. I just want to cast on all the things, which I haven't done for a while. So I was excited and I was like, I'm just going to do the blue sweater because it's low value. Like, I've had the yarn for ages. I've had it set aside for a sweater. I even had put the name of the sweater that I'd planned to knit, Love Buzz, on the bag that the yarn was stored in so that I didn't have to go find it again. So that was exciting. And I knew the gauge because I did another sweater with this yarn. And so I knew what needle size and everything would get the gauge. So all of that was really easy. And I was like, it's a really great, very simple knit. Let's do that. But it meant that I didn't think so much about fit and what I was wanting with it. All that to say, when I also went to pick up the neck stitches, I ended up picking it up with a larger needle than the pattern recommended, because when I did what the pattern recommended, it was just really tight and was kind of pulling it all in. And so I did a larger needle size. I think I still did the same amount of stitches because just the way it was picked up, that's what worked. If I did again, I probably would have done more stitches and had a lower neck. It is what it is. Like I said, I like it. It'll do what I wanted it to do. It did what I wanted it to do in terms of giving me an easy knit while I was sick. That gave me quick progress. But the other thing that I noticed about it is I did it on 5.5mm needles. And that's too big for me to enjoy. Probably 4mm is my comfortable biggest needle. 4.5, which I'm doing for another project here, it just feels big. It just feels big. So that's also good for me to know going forward. If I want a nice easy knit, 4mm or less, which is funny because I don't mind knitting more if it's comfortable. When it becomes more awkward to knit, I just don't enjoy it as much. So that's good to know. But yeah, Love Buzz, I will wear it. The yarn, like I said, this one is unknown. The blue that I held throughout, it is, I think, technically a worsted, maybe DK, but it is Hobby Winter Glow, which is a colour changing. They've got solids and they've got colour changing. This is the colour changing one, but I don't know what number. I bought it so long ago and the tag was lost because I've had it there for multiple projects and it's just never been used. So I don't have the tag anymore. I don't know the colour number, but it is Hobby Winter Glow. And if you look and find a blue one, you'll find, like, you can probably colour match this if you want it. And I went even, because I was unsure about the length. And I was like, do I put it on a provisional and do the sleeves and come back? And I was like, no, I would rather know how much I have for the sleeves. And so I cast off the body. I split what I had left into two. I did one sleeve, I did the other sleeve. I still have two very small balls left. And so I was like, I could go back, take out the bind off and do maybe 2 more rows of ribbing. I was like, it's not worth it. I cannot be bothered. I will block it, and if I'm really unhappy, I will go back and do something. I blocked it and I'm like, nah, that's fine. I'll wear that, not a problem. But in the process of all of that thinking, I did look at buying more yarn because I clearly have heaps of this. Like I still have 53 grams of this left, so I've only used half of this. So I knew that I could get another thing and actually make a full size, like full length oversized sweater, which I realized after I started, when I cast this on, that's kind of what I was hoping to do. And I looked at yarn requirements and I was like, yes, I have enough. And then I realized it's a 2-color sweater and I had more than enough for 1 color with the color work. And I didn't want to do that. So I knit it cropped because I looked at the yarn and it was decently expensive to buy another ball of 200 gram, I think it's 51% wool, 49% acrylic, the Hobby Winter Glow. I don't tend to wear acrylic, so there was that. I find it keeps odors much more than wool. Yeah, I wasn't going to spend that much money on wool that or yarn that I didn't actually really love. I was just trying to use in a project, use up what I had. All that to say, I didn't buy more. I thought I'd much rather have a crop sweater to wear with dresses around the house than to spend more money on a jumper that I may not actually like in the end. Anyway, as it is, I'll wear it. It's great. It's very comfortable, even if the look isn't quite what I was going for. I hope you have a cuppa or something. This is tea. It is New York breakfast from T2 in Australia. And the mug is a Maxwell Williams Layla is what it's called. And I believe I got that from Tea Leaves in Australia. I bought one for my mum and one for me. Love this tea. All right, what else do I have? All right. Oh, it is warm in here. I have the windows open and everything. It's 19 degrees outside. It says it's raining. I don't see the rain. I am all for sweater weather. I'm so enjoying the cooler weather. I sent my my Polish teacher a message this morning and I said, Pogoda dzisiaj jest piękna. Like the weather today is beautiful. Because she's always telling me how much the warm weather is great and I'm always telling her how much like cold winter weather or like in Poland autumn weather is great. Oh, I love it. All right, so the next pair of socks you have seen in progress. I don't remember if one was done or not, but here they are. I do it this way, maybe. All right, these socks are also a gift. And we're quite, all right, I'm having a love-hate relationship with this yarn. Nothing against the yarn, but my goodness. So let's talk design first and then I'll talk about the yarn. This is Vanilla Socks on Magic Loop by Kay the Crazy Sock Lady, but I did obviously shorties and I used her 2x2 tutorial for, well, I say used. I didn't look at it at all this time, but I've watched it previously and that's what gave me the idea for this. So I'll link the tutorial below. And it's just 2x2 color work. So you do 2 rows of one color, 2 rows of another. I had this pink and yellow and the rainbow in my stash. And I thought it would be really cute to knit a set of 3 socks. One for a gift, one for, well, all of them gifts really. One for an unnamed gift, one for my son and one for my daughter, all using the same yarns. So they had kind of matching socks. Yeah, I just thought that would be fun. So when I started, my plan was to do like a pink cuff, a yellow heel and a pink toe for this one, and then stripe the rainbow and pink throughout. But the pink is so close to the pink in here that it ended up looking like just one yarn that had kind of a slight spiral going down. So it was a really cool effect, but not getting the 2x2 effect that I wanted. And then I remembered that I had cast on not enough stitches for the person I was making the socks for. And so I was like, I really should take them out anyway. So I frogged them, and when I frogged them, decided to change it to the rainbow cuff and then striping the yellow and pink. Much rather it. It is very bright, brighter than I would normally do, but I'm really happy with it. And they knit up really quickly because 2 by 2, there's just something about it. You just want to keep knitting to the next one, and then all of a sudden they're done. So that was really quick. Then these aren't even on the blockers. I made some sock blockers. Aren't they cute? These are 3D printed with our 3D printer that we bought, I don't know, when we got back to Poland. And it's really, really handy to have a 3D printer in the house. Okay, I was trying to figure out whether the sock blockers would be too big or too small. They are too big for this sock, but they should fit the next one that the next pair that I'm making. But you know what? They do the job. Kid socks. So then I did these ones with the yellow heel toe and cuff and the rainbow in the middle. And these are for my son. He's very excited to get hand knit socks again. I knit him some for Christmas, I want to say maybe 2 years ago, and I clearly made them too big because he's been wearing them at the moment and they fit him beautifully. And so I don't know what I was thinking, whether I thought his shoe was, like his foot was growing quicker than it was, or I made them early and made them big. Anyway, he's wearing them, he loves them. And so I said, I'll keep making you socks if you keep wearing them. And he sounded like he would enjoy that. So this is what I've done for him. I did vanilla socks on Magic Loop size small for him. And they are a little bit big. He is 5 and they're just a little bit wide. So maybe next time I'll do like 52 stitches rather than 56. But the length, he hasn't tried these on, but the length I think will be pretty good. Yeah, so just vanilla socks. I didn't do any striping. That is how the rainbow yarn knits up. And yeah, the third pair, I am only really just starting. I'm in the heel flap of the first sock. And this is for my daughter who is 3. Very big for a 3-year-old, but 3. And so I've gone down to the stitch counts from the DK Vanilla sock, which is another one of Kay's, of the Crazy Sock Ladies patterns. But that one's a free pattern and designed for DK weight. So I'm using this stitch count from that one to do this sock. I'm just using fingering weight yarn and my normal 2.5mm needles. And so I'll keep these for next time so that they're here. But you can see 3 matching socks, or you will see 3 matching socks. Yeah, I am happy with how they're all working out into a matching set. My mention of the yarn is, I feel like, even saying it, I'm like, this is not, yeah. The yarn itself is beautiful, soft, delightful. So these two are both from Daffodil Road Yarn. This one is Strawberry Whip and this one is Fields of Gold. And this one is from Dyeing Dream, which is, I believe she's a German dyer in Australia, living in Australia, dyeing in Australia, and her yarns are usually UV reactive. So this one, if you put it under black light, you would get all sorts of fun effects, which if my kids ever go to a disco, it's going to be amazing. And I saw them sitting together in the box and I was like, yes, look at the colors. They go together perfectly. Got to do it. I think part of it is making 3 pairs of socks, even though some of them are smaller with the same yarn. I'm just kind of over the yarn. I want to get on to the next thing, but I want to finish the socks for my daughter before I do that. Luckily, they're not going to take long because they're tiny. I only started them yesterday. What's the date today? 2 days ago. I started them 2 days ago. Or these ones I started on, actually, these ones I started on the 24th of August and finished on the 30th. So not even a week. Then these ones I started on the 30th and finished on the 11th of September. So a week and a half. These ones I could have done in a day if I really focused on them. But they're my travel knitting at the moment. So yeah, the yarn. It's that weird thing where I love the colours, but this yarn I have tried to use so many times, and every time I use it, it's not what I imagine. And I think it's probably just, in my mind, it's a really bright pink, and it's not a really bright pink. It's actually a very pale pink. It's more subtle than I think. And so when I first tried to knit it, I tried to knit with something that had a very vibrant, bright pink and purple, or a deep purple, vibrant pink. And it didn't work. And so I frogged that. And then I've tried it a few other times with different things. And again, just what I think it is and what it is don't match. In fact, all of these are here together in my anthology throw. So what I did when I was knitting my anthology throw is I didn't have enough scraps. And so I went through my full skeins, found ones that I'd had for a while, skeined them up, used, it was probably around 15 grams for the anthology throw. Sometimes 20, but yeah, just did what it said to do, and yeah, then put the rest back into my stash. So these were around 80 grams when I started, and they're all under 50 now. So after this, they'll all go into scrap. I've already put them into my Cozy Memories scrap blanket, so I'll wind some off for my jelly roll blanket, that's the one, and then the rest will go into scrap. Actually, these two, I'm going to do a colourwork sock where I need a lot of different colours, so these will go into that, and this will just go into my normal bits and bobs. Not bits and bobs blanket, that's a different thing. My bits and bobs basket, which is just a basket of scraps. Anyway, so all I can say is I don't know why I'm not loving them. I think maybe because for a rainbow, I think they should be more vibrant. And the rainbow itself is fun to knit. Yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Whatever it is, the yarn is soft. It is delightful. It'll be so nice for all of the people who are getting them to wear. I will finish knitting them. I will put them in, I will give them to the people that they are for, and then I will pick another skein of yarn that I want to knit and knit socks. I still have one more pair that I need to knit for Christmas, and so I'm not sure whether I'll cast them on and some vanilla socks at the same time because they're going to be patterned, or whether I'll just pick a skein that I want to knit and knit it, or whether the patterned socks will be simple enough that I can just knit them and it feels like vanilla socks. Don't know. Anyway, I'm just going to do a time check. Gonna have to hurry. Okay, so we've transitioned into whips because that was a whip, the pink one. Oh, I left one downstairs. I'm not going to have time to go get it. So I'll talk about it next time. It's not finished. It is a new one. It's not finished. I'll show it to you next time. That's annoying. Oh well. The next one that I did bring with me is in a bag that I made. This is my Advent bag. I use it for Advent every year, but I needed a big bag and I just don't have many big bags, so I pulled it out. This is my framed sweater. I showed it last week. I've made some decent progress on it. Yeah. I have almost finished the front. This is framed by Andrea Mowry. It is her newest, maybe not newest anymore. She's got another one about to come out. Jumper. It is the one that she designed for the Rhinebeck knit along this year, and it is based on a traditional patchwork square, which is why I wanted to do it, because I love patchwork. Here's a little mini that I did a while ago just with scraps. So yeah, I wanted to do it because it was patchwork inspired, and I had the grey yarn I had spun, the other yarn I had bought for another project that didn't go ahead. And so I'll show you, this is the same colorway, but you can see a marked difference, much browner, much bluer. And so I'm using them as different colors in the sweater. So the bluer one is for the color work and the browner one is the frame at the top and the bottom. I'm almost finished the front. I've got, in fact, did I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I have one more row of the ribbing before I do the shaping for the shoulders. So I'm so close to finishing the front, and then I need to do the back. So the back is just where I split for the sleeves. I did mod it a little bit. I've only done 3 blocks high, not 4 for the body. Again, going for a cropped sweater. And this one will be a little oversized. I did decide to knit it to what the pattern said would be 0 ease. And I thought I was on track for that until I put it onto these and it just stretched out automatically. I didn't realize how much the needles were pulling it in. And so when I did that, I measured it, and I think, like I said before, it was about 2 inches positive ease, which is totally fine. Not a problem with that. It'll be a bit longer than this one, and I'm not sure what I'll do with the sleeves yet. I thought I would be short on yarn, but at the moment I'm not sure that I'm going to be. So having done the body and the front, this is what I have left of the first skeins, and I still have another full skein of each colour, of each of the colour work colours. So I think I should be okay, because I don't think the sleeves will take as much as the body. I could be wrong. The sleeves are designed to be 3/4 length, so I could be wrong, but I don't think they will. And it was this one that I thought I was going to run short on, and I seem to have plenty of that. Although the second skein doesn't have as much yardage as the first one, so maybe that's it. Yeah, I don't know, but I am really enjoying the look of it, the coziness. This is colour work worsted, so it is super squishy. This is upside down now, but it gives you the same idea. I am really enjoying it, and one of the things I'm loving about it is that I'm knitting with hand spun. And so I'm learning as I'm knitting, because it's very inconsistent hand spun. You can see some bits are much thinner and some bits are much thicker. Very inconsistent hand spun, but it means that I'm learning a lot about how much twist I like, how much bulk I like. Some of the really thinner bits just feel a bit like rope. Some of the thicker bits are more like little puffs of clouds. Somewhere in the middle, there are bits where I'm like, this is just beautiful for knitting with. And so as I get better at spinning, I will get better at figuring out how much twist to put into each ply, and then how much twist to put in while I'm plying it together. And so knitting with it is teaching me a lot about what I like and what I don't like. And I think the upshot is I don't need as much twist as I think I do. I'm over-plying, over-twisting, which doesn't surprise me, especially for a woolen yarn, which this is. It's woolen prep, woolen spun, which means that it has fibres going every direction and holds a lot more air inside, which means it will also be quite a warm one. This sweater is also woolen spun, single ply, the Hobby Winter Glow yarn in it. Yeah, so this is, the grey is 2-ply, and it is 100% Corriedale from Fibre Art Shed. So I bought it as a bat. They did all the prepping and I just got to spin it. So much fun. And I will link them down below as well as a shop. And I have my stitch markers on here that were a gift from a friend in Australia, kind of a going away present. Yeah, what can I say? I love the sweater. I am doing size 2, which would get me 0 ease, which is much less than what the pattern recommended. I think I should have been doing size 3 or 4 if I was doing what the pattern recommended, but I'm not. And I'm glad I'm not, because it means I'll end up with about the same ease. Because my gauge is bigger, Again, I didn't gauge swatch. I haven't blocked it, so I'm not sure what my finished gauge will be, but my knitting gauge, it is bigger. And I don't know how much it will grow considering it is woolen spun. I think it's still superwash, but it's woolen spun. So I don't know. Maybe it's not. I don't know how much it will grow. It's a much stickier yarn than I'm used to knitting with. But my gauge so far is bigger. And so that's why I only did the 3 blocks after I split for the sleeves. And above that, I will do what the pattern says for size 2. But I expect that the sizing will end up more like what it says for size 3 because my gauge is just that little bit bigger. And I think that'll work because the thing I find with ease in patterns is if it says a certain amount of ease for your body, but then the sleeves are designed with that amount of ease in mind, what you can end up doing is if you do the sleeves the same size as the smaller size, so you have less ease in the body, your sleeves can be too tight. I don't know if I'm explaining this well. So basically when you do, like for this, the sleeve is much more fitted than the body. And so if I say I want a tighter body, then the sleeve becomes tighter, but actually I still need that much room for the sleeve because the sleeve is fitted where the body isn't. Yes? So for framed, the sleeve is actually a puff sleeve, so I don't think it'll have that problem. But at the top where it joins, it may feel a little tight, depending on how it works. And I also bought 9-inch and 12-inch circular needles so I can do colour work, not on magic loop for the sleeve. And then the cuff, not on magic loop as well. I just thought that would be more enjoyable to knit. So I'm excited to get to that stage. All right, the next one that I have is a completely new project. This is in another bag that I made. The fabric for this is Arfakten. That's probably not right. It's a German, I believe it's a German designer as well, but a German fabric manufacturer, and I absolutely love it. They have beautiful, beautiful designs. So I bought some fabric. I think it was a birthday present from my mother-in-law, my in-laws, I think. Now this one is a very, very, very baby. Very, very, very baby one. I've only worked on this a few mornings. It is one that you need to count a lot, and so it's very, very new. But the yarn and the pattern were both a present for Christmas from my mum and dad and my sister and her family. So my sister, I think my sister bought me the blue yarn and the pattern, and my mum bought me the multicoloured yarns, the orangey, autumny coloured ones. But yeah, it was a Christmas present. It is a paid for pattern, so I'm not going to show you all the details, but I will show you that's about what it's meant to be. But there's one colour that's consistent throughout, and then the rest, they kind of colour block because of the way you do it. So I'm not going to tell you, obviously, counts or anything, but it's done with short rows. And so what happens is you knit, and then you just knit back and forward with short rows. And that's how you get these bigger sections of colour. And because you're knitting back and forward with short rows, the yarn, which has kind of these coloured sections, you get these little sections of the colours popping out. So it ends up looking like a butterfly. So the shawl is called the Butterfly Papillion Shawl. Yeah, so you'll have all of those colours kind of colour blocked throughout with the blue as the main. I think it's gorgeous. The yarn is earth yarn. Do I have a tag? So it's URTH. Oh, here we go. So earth yarns, and I have unique fingering, I love it. Unique fingering maybe is what it's called. And mine is colour 3008. I believe the lots of the two are different. And the blue one that I have, yep, the lots are different. And the blue one I have is Harvest Fingering, also earth yarns. So I am really enjoying it. What can I say? It is a complicated pattern, kind of. I definitely wouldn't say beginners. It's using wrap and turn short rows, which I did have to look up because I don't usually do that. But now that I've done it as much as I have in this little bit, super simple, we'll probably do it more. Normally I just convert them to German short rows, but because it's such a specific pattern and they use it the whole way through, I didn't want to do that. It is a little complicated, the pattern. Something that I didn't realise when I started was that there are so many sections that are the same that they have a shorthand at the beginning. And so I got to the pattern at one point and I was just like, why does it say red square? Like, I don't understand. There should be more information here. And then I realised that something I'd read before was that it was the red square information. So I went back and found that, and now the pattern makes sense and it's totally fine. And I really want to work on it a lot, but I need to do a lot of counting with this one. So it's not something I can do with the kids around, and not something I really want to do if I'm, like last night, my husband and I watched Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, and I didn't want to do counting the whole way through. So I worked on my framed sweater. But when I go out to a cafe and I have a chance to sit there by myself and I just want some quiet, it's a perfect kind of sweater knitting that I can do for that. All right, I have one more project to show you. And this is in a basket that I crocheted, which funnily enough is the project that I forgot to bring up. I'm making another one of these baskets. And it so far kind of looks like that much of it. So ignore the blues and whites at the top, it's not going to be that, but the bottom looks very similar, or at least to this bit. So yeah, I'm making another one of these baskets as a toy basket for my kids, but I'll show you that next week because it probably still won't be done because they're big baskets. I brought my Bits and Bobs blanket to show you because it's a big scrappy blanket. I'm working on it bits and pieces. I'm not going to show it every podcast, but I thought it's been a few and I will show you. So I keep it in this basket with all of my scraps that are not, I want to say they're not sock yarn scraps, but I do have some in here that are sock yarn scraps, but they're like a single ply sock yarn that I don't like using for socks. So they're in here, and technically that one is a sock yarn and I might be able to use that for another project. So I'm going to take that out. But the rest of these are not sock yarn scraps. Like this one's 100% merino, 100% merino, all sorts of things in here. And for Bits and Bobs, it's fingering weight held double. So I'm using Drops Fable for the main one, and it is colour 114. I did start it with a different yarn. Drops Fable is much more affordable, and so I swapped to Drops halfway through when I needed to restock. So this is what I got. I hope you saw the bottom. I have done this much. I don't have stitch stoppers on this, so I don't want to lose my stitches. But you can see the progress keeper down here in the middle of the blue. That's how much I've done since I last saw you. It is a fisherman's rib or half fisherman's rib, I can't remember. It is a paid for pattern, but it means that every second 2 rows are equivalent of 1 row, I think is how it works. So that's a decent bit of progress. I love getting to the colour changes. And so the purple ball that I'm using, I feel like it was pretty big, but I'm actually getting pretty close to the end. So I'm looking forward to some more colour changes, and you can see like that little pink bit. I use big scraps, I use small scraps. I just it is a put everything in kind of blanket. And I mean that. Like, I have this pinky color down here is crepe yarn. I don't even know what crepe yarn is, but that's what it is. This is pure acrylic, the grey and the green. The blue is merino. You know, that's a hand-dyed singles. It's just any scraps that I can't use for scrappy socks. So anything I can use for scrappy socks goes in my basket. All other fingering or sport weight goes into here when it becomes a scrap. And it's really great. So I just thought I'd give you that update. I should change where that is. I'm just going to change the progress keeper now so that I know when it's worth showing it to you again. Cool. I really enjoy knitting scrappy, and this sits in the basket in my bedroom so that it's there when I want it. All right. That is all my whips that I have brought upstairs to show you. Like I said, that scrappy basket I'll show you later. But I did want to quickly talk about the M curl, and I have just a few minutes to do it. So I wasn't sure about whether I was going to do the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along this year. And I say I wasn't sure because last year there was a lot of drama. If you know what it is, that's fine. If you don't worry about it. But it did make some of the knitting less enjoyable. And so I just wasn't sure if I wanted to do it again. Just, you know how something taints feelings? It's just that kind of thing. I did finish my shawl last year. I like it. It's probably the right weather to pull it out now, actually. But I just wasn't sure. And the group of people that I have been knitting it with for the last few years also weren't sure. And I was like, maybe I won't. I'm not sure. Just wasn't sure. And then he released the little thing. It's Go-Go Dynamo this year. And I was like, that could be fun. And he'd released a colourwork pattern, like a jumper colourwork that he's doing that had just lots of different patterns and lots of different colours. And I was like, if he's got that kind of idea in designing at the moment, which kind of matched the clip, the photo, then I was like, this could be a really fun one. And then he released that it was only 2 colours. And I was like, maybe it'll be like lots of different colourwork play, but only 2 colours. Again, went back into the not sure. But I had a bit of a think, and I spoke to my friends, and some of them like maybe, and some of them were like no. And then I was in bed and I had this thought about colours. And I just couldn't get it out of my head. And so then the next day I looked up some different photographs, and I found one, and I'll put it here, of colours that I was thinking. And so I said, look, I'm going to do it. I'm going to dye my own yarn. And I posted it to the group chat from all the other ones we've been doing. And my sister was like, I want to do it, and I would use those colours too. And I was like, do you want me to just dye some for you and me at the same time? And she said, yes, please. So that's what I did. So I've already shipped her ones off to her in Australia, but here are my ones. I absolutely love this. It is a little bit more golden and a little less orange than what I had originally thought, but it matches the picture that I found perfectly, so that's fine. And then this one is also gorgeous, a little bit darker than I had originally thought. But when I did my first one, and this was brighter, it just looked like Aussie colours, like Aussie sport colours, green and gold. So I'll put that photo up here too, so you can see, like, it was very bright. And I actually wanted more contrast in terms of tone between the 2 colours. I didn't want a black and white photo to come up as the same colour grey. And so put some more black in here, and I'm really happy that I did. And then I had some black dye left over because I overshot how much black I would need, and I quickly realised that I'd put too much in. So I took the yarn out, changed the water, set the yarn with how much dye I'd already struck, and used the other one to dye another skein, which is this. So it was grey, and then I added some magenta and some turquoise to get this kind of purpley tonal colour with just a few speckles. It was quite deep water. If I'd wanted it to be more or less tonal, I could have taken the water out and had it more speckly. But yeah, have a nice little purple sock yarn. So, no? Yes, this one is sock yarn. So I can make some socks or use it for heels, toes and cuffs. Yeah, so I am going to do the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. Cast on, I believe, is, I want to say October 3rd. My birthday is the 29th of September. So I've been toying with the idea of a birthday cast on. And in fact, the butterfly shawl, I was going to do a birthday cast on, and then I got impatient and just cast it on straight away. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I have a few other things in the queue that I would love to make, and maybe I'll do that as a birthday cast on. But I'm kind of hoping to get the framed sweater finished so I can wear it on my birthday. And if I do that, then I might then cast on another one. Not another framed, another sweater or a dress that I have yarn for that is waiting to be made. Yeah, so I have thoughts percolating there. The dress that I want to make, I bought yarn for, which was also kind of a birthday present. My aunt had given me some money as like a birthday Christmas present combined, and so I used that to buy this yarn. So I'm like, if I cast it on as a birthday present, as a birthday cast on with my birthday present, then that's really fun. But it is something that I gauge swatch for, and that's where I stop. I hate gauge swatching. But it will be a dress with yarn that is inconsistent that I have never used before. Like every color of this yarn is different. And I also want to do a color, like it's a color work one, so I want to see what colors work together. So it's kind of, I want a gauge swatch, but if I'm going to do that, I need to do that before my birthday so I can cast it on for my birthday. And that's as far as I've got with the thinking. But we'll see. I've got 4 things on the needles at the moment, or 3 on the needles and 1 on the hook. And I'm pretty happy with that. So I don't really want to start a whole bunch of other things. Yeah, so that's about it for today. I don't have much life stuff to say except that we were all sick for 2 weeks and we are healthy again, and it is lovely being healthy again. Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, thanks for joining me. I do have to rush and go pick up my son from school. So I'm going to go do that. It has been lovely catching up with you. Please share with me what you're making down below so that I can feel the two-wayness of this little knit and chat. And if you like what you've seen here, subscribe, press the bell button if you want to be notified. I don't even know what all this means. I'm just saying what I hear other people say. So yeah, do it. I do know subscription because I do that myself. But yeah, like, subscribe, let me know what you're working on, and I will see you again, hopefully in 2 weeks. Bye.